A mountaineer need never fear. To the summit he will help you to ascend. The abominable snowman is a really good to know man, the kind of guy that I can recommend. The Yeti is a man's best friend. Seven and a half minutes in, we've got an intro.
It's a process. There was a lot of brainstorming.
It's like jazz.
Yeah.
This is a jazz podcast.
Okay, Richie. So tell us why we're here today.
This is the third time. I think if we just hack together something out of what we've got up until now, we'll give the impression we're talking about Yeti.
Yeah, but that's so much work for me.
All right.
Hi, Richie.
Hi, Sin.
Tell us why we're here today.
I think it's time for us to blow the lid off Big Yeti and get to the bottom of what's going on.
What's a Yeti?
That's a very good question.
I only ask good questions.
I know. The Yeti is... It reminds me a lot of the story around the Loch Ness Monster, where there were, like, a couple of obvious hoaxes that then got out of control and it became its own mythology.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the way the Loch Ness Monster, the stories about there being monsters in lakes in Scotland is part of local folklore. In the Himalayas, where the Yeti is supposed to reside, there is also local folklore about this, like, you know, there are monsters in the snow that will like catch you if you go too far from the village.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, explorers went there and I guess assumed that the people there were incapable of thinking metaphorically and assumed they must be describing something that really existed. So basically, as a result of Western explorers trying to scale Mount Everest and meeting with the people who lived in the Himalayas, they kept hearing stories about the Yeti, and a bunch of them assumed it must be a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which, basically, what was happening with this, the abominable snowman thing, it happens, it's sort of around the 1950s. And what happened was that going to try to climb Mount Everest and explore that region is very expensive. And they needed to get private funding to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of advantageous to suggest that there was an undiscovered creature there. Because then that drummed up excitement and people would fund expeditions to go there in the hopes of finding it. So there's a very famous photograph that people might be familiar with. That's like it's like an enormous human footprint, and next to it is an ice pick, just trying to give you the sense of scale.
Oh.
And like, it's kind of clear at this point that was either entirely faked up or it was someone else. It was like a bear's footprint that they sort of like dug out to make it look a bit more human.
Mm-hmm.
It's slightly too perfect, and the guy who took the photograph had a reputation for being kind of like a troll, basically. He likes to fuck with people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the thing about the Himalayas is that there are 3 different species of large bear there that walk on their hind legs, and most Yeti sightings are from like you'll read about the Yeti sighting, and then it'll always be like they were about 90 meters away. Or one I found, there's a thing about a Russian scientist who claims to have observed the Yeti, and then you read the report, and he was 400 meters away from the Yeti during a snowstorm at the time. So probably didn't get that good a look at it.
Yeah. So, Richie?
Yes.
Are you suggesting that the Yeti might just be a bear?
Well, sometimes it's a goat. And sometimes it's a person. Basically, no one has ever actually found a Yeti, but they found bits of Yeti.
Okay.
So, like, there have been... there's an upside to this, which is that people kept claiming to have samples of Yeti fur and demanding that scientists examine it and try to figure out what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And in pretty much every case, it was the fur of bears from the Himalayas. And sometimes it was a goat. But it actually, like... The side effect of that is that it led to scientists learning a lot more about the bears of the Himalayas, because they kept having to analyze fur samples from them. So, like, that's the upside of forcing scientists to waste their time looking for Yeti. Well, there was a Soviet Yeti incident.
Tell me more.
There's a reference to a Soviet army doctor in 1941 who was sent like this. There was this. They found this man in Siberia, and they thought he might be a spy. But according to the doctor's reports, he was like incredibly tall and incredibly hairy.
Was he a Yeti?
Well, that's the theory. That's the we don't have any other information. And there's another story of some prisoners who escaped from the Soviet prisons in Siberia, who claim to have seen something resembling a bear in the area, which clearly means a Yeti, not a bear. Because it only resembled a bear.
But there's no definitive proof that the Yeti doesn't exist.
That's absolutely correct, yes. There's another incident of Yeti remains, which is kind of well known, called the Pangboche Hand. So there was a monastery in Pangboche, which is in the Himalayas, and they claimed to have the preserved hand of a Yeti.
I just Googled it.
Yeah.
And I can 100% say that, yes, that is a preserved hand of a Yeti.
Well, I should just have asked you and not bothered with the investigation. People, because it was a holy relic, people wanted to get hold of it but weren't allowed to, because the monks said no. Then, in a completely bizarre twist, it was stolen and smuggled into the US by Jimmy Stewart, the actor.
Oh my god, what?
His, wife got hold of it, and then they smuggled it into the US and it was tested.
Oh my god! This is like something you'd hear in a movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a parody movie, which I love. This is awesome.
And it was just a person's hand. Oh, the best part of this is that this was all a sponsored expedition from a rich oil man called Tom Slick.
Is this real?
This is real. There was an oil businessman called Tom Slick who was funding massively expensive expeditions to the Himalayas to find the Yeti. And Jimmy Stewart was involved in smuggling a stolen Yeti hand back into America where the DNA could be tested. At that time, the US State Department were also looking into the Yeti because they thought it might be real. So there is these documents that have been declassified because it was half a century ago that go into okay, here's what to do if we encounter the Yeti, and they have instructions about try not to kill it, but if you have to, do this. So the word we talked about where the Yeti comes from, it's a mythical creature. There's a bunch of different words from that area that can kind of mean like snow monster and wild man and man bear and things. So Yeti comes from that.
Mhm.
It's a word that's like Yeti, which is that's like the animal that lives in the rock, and then there's like Mete, which is like a man that is a bear, and then interestingly, one of the names they use is Migo, which is a thing from Lovecraft. So I guess he gets it from there.
There's also man bear pig.
That's not real. What kind of idiot would think that was a real thing? I'm very intelligent. One of the things about animals in the Himalayas is there's a species of wolf there that it walks with a very odd kind of gait where it will put one paw down and then it will put another paw down in pretty much the same spot. So it only appears to leave two footprints rather than four. And because the paws push down in roughly the same area, it sort of distorts the shape of the footprint. And after like the snow melts and refreezes and melts and refreezes, it can look like a human footprint. And the same is true of the bears. Like if you leave a footprint in the ground and they're in the snow, and then the snow melts away, and then it comes back and melts away and comes back, eventually it's distorted to the point where you can't really tell what it is. So a lot of the mysterious tracks that people find in the snow, and they say a Yeti, it's pretty clearly just that. And that's one of the reasons people think that the very famous Eric Shipton Yeti footprint photograph is fake because it's just too perfect. It looks like if you were to just draw a giant human footprint in the snow. So the assumption is either it was completely faked or it was it was like a series of footprints that like sort of mushed together and then they were kind of like cleaned up to make it look human. The name Abominable Snowman is a mistranslation, but it kind of stuck. The name Abominable Snowman predates most of like Yeti mania is like the 1950s, but Abominable Snowman comes from the 20s. And it was just a reference to there were people who lived in the mountain, like ascetics and like drifters and things who weren't part of the community there. And there was a reference to them, and it was like the explorers thought they had seen something, and then the guide said, "Oh, you've just seen." Like it's a name that means like the filthy men who live in the snow. And then that sort of got mangled into Abominable Snowman, which then became the name that stuck. But yeah, saying like the Yeti, it's sort of like talking about like the boogeyman or something. The idea is like that there's these things out there, and if you like go too far from the village or you like go into the wrong place, like the Yeti will get you. And those were then interpreted as being like, oh, clearly they're talking about something that really happens, and they've just like, but no, it's just a story. But yeah, the whole thing is basically just down to people wanting to sort of drum up interest in going to the Himalayas.
Have you ever been to the Himalayas?
No.
Me neither. Do you think we should organize a trip to go and look for the Yeti?
Well, my high school geography teacher went to the Himalayas, and he would not shut the fuck up about how the correct way to say it is Himalayas. And this put me off the Himalayas for life.
You mean the Himalayas?
It put me off geography for life. I refuse to travel anywhere. I mean, I know, for example, that a lot of people use the phrase begging the question incorrectly, but I don't constantly bring it up.
Really? How so? Explain.
No, because we're talking about the Yeti.
Well, you brought it up as an example, and I'm curious.
Yeah, because most people say begs the question when they mean raises the question.
Uh-huh.
But beg the question doesn't mean raise the question.
What does it mean?
it means like it means you're like phrasing something in a way that points toward an answer without like a loaded question.
Hmm.
Yeah. I just remembered something we did in geography class, but I don't want to say it in case anyone out there likes geography.
Oh no, tell us, tell us.
There was this sticker on the door that said geography puts you on top of the world.
Uh-huh.
And then I don't know who it was, but someone removed it and replaced it with a virtually identical sticker that just said geography, it's shit. And that stayed up for like several weeks before anyone noticed.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I feel bad because like geography is a fascinating subject, but in high school it's literally just looking at a map and
Yeah.
remembering what things are called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should make geography a little more exciting.
Yeah.
Maybe if geography classes are framed around the different creatures you may find in different locations. So, when you first brought up that we should record on the Yeti, I had to Google it because I wasn't sure if there's a difference between the Yeti, the abominable snowman, the Sasquatch, Bigfoot. Can you tell us if all of them are the same or different?
The Yeti is, well, this is confusing because the Yeti is, if we're looking at like the real inquiry into the Yeti, then it's specifically the Himalayan mountain. And it's specifically like a large hairy monster with either brown or black fur. But because of like abominable snowman, the pop cultural depiction of the Yeti usually has white fur. And there's several instances of it being in the North Pole. If anyone's seen the Rankin Bass Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, there is a Yeti in the North Pole there with Santa. The Sasquatch is in North America and it lives in forests. And the Yowie is the Australian version, which also lives in forests. And then, like across different places, you have stories about like the idea of like they're people, but they live outside of society, so they're kind of like animals. So in Britain, like you have stories about the Woodwoes, who are supposed like they're people, but they're very hairy and they live in the forest. And of course, in Britain, it's accepted. Okay, the Woodwoes are part of folklore, but apparently that doesn't apply anywhere else. Doesn't apply in Tibet. They must have clearly actually seen something. Oh, and the Russian version is called the Alma.
It's called what? Alma?
A
Really?
ALMA. Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, you've never met one?
No.
No.
Never met one. Hmm.
Do you want to talk about Yeti that have appeared in video games to pad this out?
Well, actually, that's what I was just Googling. Yeti in popular culture. You're in my mind.
Good. Yeah. Because there were going to be Yeti in Demon Souls, and they cut them out.
Oh, why?
Because they were in the northern limit area that got removed.
Too bad.
And they have gigantic mouths in their stomachs. So it looks like they were going to grab you and then like bite you with their stomach.
In Bloodborne, the what is it called? The guys who throw rocks at you?
The giant lost children.
Yeah, they're kind of like Yetis, no?
Yeah, they are, yeah. They were called, thanks to Extra Life, for a long time they were referred to as Yeti.
Okay, so let's see.
Shout out to Extra Life, invaluable resource for things that aren't actually true. But presented as though they are, because there are no citations.
So I'm on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Are you there? Yeti in popular culture?
No, I'm not. I'll go there now.
Okay.
Yeti in popular culture. That auto-completed, so clearly it's a popular subject. Yep.
Okay. The Yeti has regularly been depicted in film, literature, music, and video games.
Yep.
There's a lot of references.
There
So
are.
yeah. So here it says Kyrgyz Express Post, the postal operator of Kyrgyzstan, issued 2 humorous stamps dedicated to Yeti.
And we can see them on the side, and he's got a
Yeah.
nice little pair of skis.
It's very cute, actually.
Yeah. See, this is what I mean about like the description of the Yeti from the explorers and from the people in the Himalayas. It's
Mhm.
always brown or black, but it's almost always white when it's drawn
Yeah.
like, as a fictional thing. Yeah.
Oh, look, on one of the stamps, he's on vacation. He's on the beach. Oh,
Aww.
yeah. A Yeti is depicted in the 1961 Bugs Bunny Daffy Duck short film, The Abominable Snow Rabbit.
Are we actually going to do all of these?
Yes? Why does this surprise you?
Because it goes on beyond the bottom of the screen, and I don't know how long it is.
The Yeti are monsters in the long-running British science fiction television series Doctor Who.
Hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Hmm. Which episodes though? I don't remember them.
No, they were in the original series.
Oh, okay.
Hence,
That's why I don't
these
remember.
following sentence: the 1967 serial "The Abominable Snowman." This got linked with Lovecraft as well in one of the novels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because in it the Yeti were robots controlled by this like bodiless kind of alien intelligence that was
Mhm.
just referred to as the Great Intelligence, and then about 30 years later, someone wrote a tie-in novel that connected that with one of Lovecraft's like elder gods. I forget which one.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's not.
We should have a Doctor Who episode at some point.
I've got strongly held opinions.
Okay. Tintin in Tibet is the 20th volume of the comic series The Adventures of Tintin.
I like how this doesn't even mention what the Yeti does in it.
Yeah.
It's just, by the way, Tintin in Tibet.
The Microsoft video game Ski Free features a Yeti that pursues and eats the player after finishing a full ski run.
That is legitimately kind of scary if you ever played Ski Free. Have you ever played it?
Because no, I didn't. But the Yeti I imagine now is the one we saw in Stamps, so it's actually adorable.
No, it's like a weird MS Paint Yeti that like chases you.
Oh,
It's
I know
kind
what
of
you're
creepy
talking
looking
about.
because you're just skiing and then suddenly this thing bursts out. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I actually know that. Yeah, it's pretty stressful.
Okay.
Now I'm stressed about the Yeti. Thanks a lot, Richie. Like, I haven't enough things to be stressed about.
Well, he's not in Canada.
There's a lot of snow here.
You've got Wendigo. The Wendigo they're very territorial.
What if the Yeti team up with the Wendigo?
I'm surprised that actually I'm pretty sure that probably has been done at some point.
Maybe we should invite both of them on our podcast.
Wouldn't just have like
You know, you remember that Geico commercial
No.
about the cavemen that were offended because of how Geico was portraying them?
Yeah.
Well, now I'm going to get angry phone calls from Yetis and Wendigos for the way you're portraying
I'm interested
them.
in knowing how much of this is actually going to make it in to the final episode.
I'll send you a draft for pre-approval.
Okay.
In the video game Mr. Nuts, the title character goes through a series of levels before meeting his nemesis, Mr. Blizzard, who is a Yeti.
I like how they have a citation there. Just in case you absolutely need to prove Mr. Blizzard is a Yeti.
In the 2006 video game Titan Quest, Yetis appear as beast enemies in Act 3. Walt Disney's world attraction, Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom, is themed around the folklore of the Yeti and features a 25-foot tall audio animatronic Yeti, which appears during the ride. Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
Like, this is just stuff that we don't know anything about. We've not played Mr. Nuts. I don't even know what Titan Quest is. And we haven't been to the Everest Expedition Disney Animal Kingdom. So it's just nothing.
Well, maybe we just put this on the list of things to do for the next season of Mysterious World. You know?
Well, go to Disneyland.
Well, this season we talk about things, and next season we're gonna go explore things and investigate.
I have a story. I like an academia story about that.
Go on.
There was I won't say who they were, but there were these two academics who I was like roughly connected to, who said, "Oh, we're going to do a study on like how happiness works. So we need you to pay for us to go to all of these theme parks." And it was just the university bankrolling them going to like all of like Disneyland and stuff. I'm like,
That's
I don't know how I feel about this.
Oh wow!
It's second to the person who decided completely of their own accord that they really desperately needed to study a series of extremely beautiful tropical beaches to be flown there to spend all day in the sun.
Wow, my university doesn't give me sick days. This is amazing. Bumble is the abominable snow monster from the 1964 Christmas television special Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He later influenced the portrayal of the Yeti who appeared near the end of the film Monsters, Inc. Oh my god, I love that Yeti! Have you seen Monsters, Inc.?
No, that's the one I was talking about with the Rankin Bass one.
Do you want me to recite you the entire movie? I can do it.
I think we make a copyright claim.
Oh, okay. I can also do the music as I recite the dialogues of the characters. I saw that movie so many times, you can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, I can't.
Okay. In Dan Simmons' alternate history level, the abominable...
Oh god, how long is this?
The abominable set... I can't read anymore. Richie, you read the rest.
In Dan Simmons' alternate history novel, The Abominable, set mainly on or near Mount Everest, the antagonists prey upon the Sherpa's beliefs in Yeti. Citation needed.
Do you know that I have a nickname at work? Can you guess what it is?
No?
It's Sherpa.
Oh, yeah. I remember this now.
Because apparently I am very calm, well-reasoned, and give very good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have they worked with you? Because
A year.
I've seen a very different side of you, I would say.
Okay. Go on.
The Lego minifigures theme has a Yeti in its Series 11 set, which was released in 2011. The Yeti later appeared in the Lego movie as a master builder. Citation needed.
You know, the Lego movie is actually really, 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 really good.
I haven't seen that.
You should watch it. It's amazing. I wasn't a believer until I saw it, and then it was like, oh my god, it's amazing. And then I made my boyfriend watch it. At first, he was like, no. But then he also fell in love with it.
So you weren't a believer in Lego or in the Yeti?
Now I am.
I see.
Go on.
In the 2001 film Monsters, Inc., have you seen that?
Yes, I have. I can recite you the entire movie by heart. Would you like me to do it now?
Okay.
Okay, so the scene...
just do that and I'll just like go to sleep.
Okay, keep reading.
Okay. The 2008 film The Mummy: Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Yetis are summoned to protect the gateway to the mystical city of Shangri-La.
Oh, I'm trying to remember because I've seen that.
Oh, this list ends pretty quickly, and there's a bunch of other Yeti that aren't mentioned. This is a very incomplete list.
Yeah. Have I seen Tomb of the Dragon though? Tomb of the Dragon Emperor? I don't know if I've seen this mummy. Oh my god. Is there a mummy movie I've missed? Oh no. I have to watch it. I love Mimey 1. I saw Mimey 1 and I saw Mimey 2. And then I saw another Mimey they did, but I didn't like it.
The Tom Cruise one.
No, the one before that. Maybe that was the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor?
It might have been.
Anyway, go on.
In the Kakababu film, I'm sorry if I've offended anyone by failing to pronounce that correctly. Yeti Obhidjan. There is a prologue of gigantic teeth which, as of Yeti, is a primary plot point. Also, there are different sightings and POVs like Tintin in Tibet of Yeti is shown through the movie. Footnote 88.
Mm-hmm.
In 2016, the Travel Channel released the series Expedition Unknown, a 4-part episode entitled Hunt for the Yeti. They didn't find it.
Are you sure? Did you watch it?
Well, no, but I think if they'd found the Yeti in 2016, even like Australia would have heard by now. And in the 2018 film Smallfoot, the Yetis are depicted as having horns on their head and no nose.
I must Google that. Is it totally adorable? Oh my god, it is totally Richard, click it. Oh my god, click it right now.
Aww.
Oh my god. Oh, we must watch this. I love it. It's so cute. Oh my god. Look at that.
Danny DeVito's in it.
Oh my god. Is Danny DeVito Yeti?
Well, he might be. The plot is about a group of Yeti who come across a human, with each species thinking the other was just a myth.
Oh. This has a very Monsters, Inc. feel to it.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, I guess that's it.
No, there's. I can think of 2 significant video game Yeti who have been cruelly omitted from this.
Okay, tell us.
First is Umaro from Final Fantasy VI, who is a secret character who is a Yeti who joins you.
Aww.
And he is because he's a Yeti, he just fights stuff. He doesn't take orders. So if you have him in the party, you can't control him.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he attacks by picking up the other characters in the party and throwing them like missiles.
Okay, I love him. That is amazing. If I were a Yeti, I would be him.
And the only way you can get him to join you is to bring this like talking cat with you, because he recognizes that as his boss.
Oh my god!
Otherwise, he ignores you. But then, if you bring the cat's like, "Listen, you owe me."
That is amazing.
It's pretty cool actually, because like you can't get him until over halfway through the game, but he hangs around in the sort of like main base area for the first half of that game is a snowy mountain area. And if you just wander around, you can sometimes see the Yeti just like poking out of caves and stuff. But if you try to chase him, he'll disappear again. But after a certain point, you can go and get him.
Aww.
And his name is Umaro, which is Umaro. And UMA, that's like a pun that doesn't work in English, because in Japan, like what we would call cryptids are called unknown mysterious animals, which is UMA.
Mm-hmm.
So they call him Umaro.
Cute.
Although they do incorrectly describe him as a Sasquatch at one point.
Uh-oh, unacceptable. Literally unplayable. Another
example of the translation being butchered. They call him a Sasquatch pal with muscle. Oh, hang on, and he has this really awesome official artwork where he's flexing while riding on a snowball.
Yeah, I see it. I this is one of the first things you see if you Google him.
Yeah.
And what's the other Yeti portrayal?
That is the infamous passion project that was absolute shit Game Boy Advance game Urban Yeti. Which is I don't know exactly how to explain it. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto without cars. You just sort of run around a city doing weird missions. It looks a lot like the very early Grand Theft Auto games where it's just shot from above.
And you are the Yeti?
You are an urban Yeti.
Okay.
And it was this weird, like, passion project for the developers who had just done, I think, like a bunch of licensed shit. But then, I guess in their spare time, they made Urban Yeti.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you just have to run around the city doing missions to get money. And you have to, like, deliver pizza and things. And his goal is to find a Yeti girlfriend in the city. Yeah, I'm looking at, like, some Urban Yeti screenshots, and it's got, like, here's one where the Yeti becomes the manager of a soup kitchen. Oh, and before you start playing, you get a message that says, "Get ready to Yeti."
Aww.
Also, helpfully, the Yeti is correctly colored. He has, like, a brownish kind of golden fur.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
The plot of Urban Yeti focuses on a Yeti's quest to find a Yeti mate in a large city populated by humans. The game plays from a top-down perspective similar to the early Grand Theft Auto games. The player must make their way through the city in order to come across missions which take the form of mini-games, such as when the Yeti must get a job to earn money to pay a toll to cross a bridge. As the Yeti walks around the city, he is attacked by townspeople and must avoid being killed.
Oh.
The game features 4 mini-games and 4 missions. Urban Yeti received mostly average reviews from critics, who praised the game's humor but criticized its technical problems. It has a 68% on Metacritic.
Mm-hmm.
IGN's Craig Harris criticized the game's slow frame rate and technical problems, stating that because of the loose and sloppy presentation, it ends up feeling like a game produced by a few guys down in someone's basement. That's great, though. That's a good thing, IGN. Failing yet again.
Yetis rise up.
Yetis rise up. What Yetis are gamers? What cryptids are gamers? This is a question.
Oh god.
Mothman, absolutely.
I don't think Loch Ness is a gamer.
I think Loch Ness would be like a gamer, but like smartphone. Probably plays like Candy Crush or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flatwoods, I imagine, like the Flatwoods monster would get hooked on like one of those gacha games, where it's all just like randomized, and every day he's like, fucking. Occasionally he gets like a 5-star one. He's like, yes.
What about the Baba Yaga?
Maybe like Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Urban Yeti, he looks like he'd probably play Fortnite. He looks kind of, he's like slightly twisted, but also a bit normy.
I think the cute Yeti from the stamps would play Skyrim.
Yeah, with like mods installed.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like a non-aggression mod.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the mod that lets you have like 200 pet dogs.
Thank you so much for that informative podcast, Richie.
Well, we'll see how long it ends up.
And as you know, we've decided that the outro will be sounds of the cryptid, which we discussed. So, Richie, can you give us sounds of the Yeti?
I'll be the Yeti from Final Fantasy VI.
Okay.
That's when he does his blizzard attack. It's like... Because what happens is, like, he's a Yeti, so he can't use equipment. But you can give him, like, accessories that aren't technically equipment. And one of them is an orb that, again, incorrectly identifies him as a Sasquatch. And if you give him the orb, sometimes during combat, because his attack pattern is random, instead of throwing someone, he'll breathe a whole lot of ice out. like he'll breathe cold everywhere. So, and he jumps in front of the party and goes like, and this like blue kind of like cloud forms.
Okay, but I need like 4 of those in a row.